Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Robinson with the Still Faithful Project. This is another episode of the Still Faithful Podcast. I have some news before we get completely into it. This is going to be real short, just some updates. I did want to talk about something in specific, but for now, just know that the ball is rolling in more ways than one. There's a lot of good things happening, and we're really excited for what we're about to do. So, on a personal note, with the podcast, our first interview will be conducted tomorrow, and a subsequent interview with another individual will happen this weekend. These are two outstanding officers that served honorably during the COVID period, the mandate period. Longer than that, as you'll find out. They were really affected by the COVID. They're actually colleagues of each other, so it'll be interesting to get one interview out of the first and another interview out of somebody who knows them. So we'll see. I'll bounce off some of the same questions between the two, see, how things come together in full picture. But we're excited about that. That should be coming out next week. I'll have to do some editing for maybe audio and time, upload it as soon as we can. So hopefully beginning of next week, we can have that done. I'll be posting that on Rumble, on YouTube, clips of it on TikTok. I'm going to be posting the main interview in its entirety here on X with the Still Faithful Project. That's where we're going to be archiving all of this stuff. So if you're affected by any of this, and this is, what you're going through too, request to join real quick and easy. I respond to all of them very quickly, and follow this. Bookmark whatever videos you want and follow me in the other apps as well. So let's move on a little bit. We have other interviews coming up the next several weeks, hopefully a collaboration after the 15th. But I want to read some stuff that I saw last night when I was bumming around X. And these posts are from Teresa M. Long. You can find her at LTC Teresa Long on X. She's done some pretty fantastic work. I've followed her for the better part of about 2 months now, and I've been trying to keep up with everything she constantly puts out. And it's a lot, and it's great. I've learned a lot about the situation that I was in. In my own situation, I had the blinders on. I feel like most people did. So just to see her put all of this stuff together has really helped kind of illuminate some of the things that I witnessed and that were done to me as well. So let's talk about this newest post. She posted this 12/3/25 at 7:52 p.m. It's already got a lot of impressions, but she says, I'll read her quote, "Safe and effective. C5491011 and the 30-month Pfizer safety trial was conducted on DoD personnel from December 11th, 2022 to June 2023. How many," she goes on, "how many study participants? Well, that depends on how many service members were coerced to get the jab. Yes, you were Big Pharma's multi-billion-dollar lab rats. Health destroyed, no money for you. They told you safe and effective, and 100% knew that was a false official statement. It was on my counseling statement and yours." And she tags some people. She goes on to say, she says, Secretary Kennedy, Secretary of War, must commit to ensuring servicemen are never Big Pharma lab rats for Big Pharma profit ever again. Okay, I agree with her. And she hashtags the Tuskegee experiment. So she puts out these pictures. In these pictures, she has highlighted sections. So 9.5 study size. The sample size achieved will depend on the number of individuals administered the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine with the DoD MHS during the study period, which will increase over time with subsequent analysis. It's just hard for me to get through these. So this isn't the first time they've done this, of course. She hashtagged one of the very events, the Tuskegee experiment. I mean, this isn't anything new. The military does this. We're lab rats, and there's certain rights maybe that we give up, but there's others that we don't. Basic human dignity is one of them, and the right to informed consent is another. They did not afford that because the statements they were making about the drugs themselves that they were pushing were false, and they were known to be false. Now, who knew what? That's the real question. But here's where it gets a little hairy. When it comes to the military, right? So let's talk about emergency use authorization. The EUA drugs were not covered in Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin's vaccine mandates, specifically the COVID-19 vaccine mandate. In the mandate itself, it explicitly says that the vaccines that are to be administered, and I'm paraphrasing, but the vaccines that are to be administered are ones that would have gone through the complete trial period. Now, obviously, they didn't do that because all of the lots that were being administered in all the commands throughout the world were emergency use authorization only. So none of them, or the majority of them at least, that were being administered to DoD, they hadn't gone through that trial. In fact, I believe the acting director of the FDA said publicly that he wasn't going to fast track the COVID vaccines. He was going to allow it to go through the proper process, the one that has been there for every vaccine from, since they started doing this. Of course, that's the way we think, okay, there's a process, it should be followed. He said he was going to do that. And then less than a week later, maybe it was a week later, he resigns. And then somebody else gets put in there. I don't remember their names. Somebody else gets put in there. And what do you know? It gets fast-tracked. And then the COVID mandates come down after that, soon after. Maybe I'm getting a little iffy on the timeline. Maybe it wasn't so soon after, like a week or two, but it was pretty quick, I think, that they went ahead and did the mandates. And then all these EUA, the Forgotten Soldiers podcast over there, they were talking about it from the beginning. He said, these are the lot numbers. They're looking them up, and they're saying, yeah, no, these don't match up. This is EUA only. They run that up the chain of command. Several people did. A lot of people did, because they did their research, because they were being coerced into doing something that was against their conscience or their religious beliefs or their moral code or the law. They were getting given unlawful orders, and they said, no, I don't want to do this, and here's why. Here's all the information I have. Some of these people were the most thorough, and it didn't matter. So there was an active effort to prevent from acknowledging this from several commanders. And that's where we come in. If you know about this kind of thing, if you witnessed this kind of thing, maybe you got the shot and you got injured, talk to me about it, okay? Get with your colleagues, your former colleagues. Maybe you got kicked out with a handful of people. Maybe it was a lot. Maybe you were by yourself. That's okay too. I want to talk to you all. I want you to talk to each other. I want you to get affidavits together to discuss, in an official kind of written out capacity, what you witnessed, Don't say the same things. Liars do that. You don't have to lie. This happened to you. It was wrong. Write it down. Get your friends to write it down. Request a correction to your records. Actually go through the hoops and request the correction of your records. Hopefully you requested your records prior to that, but request the correction. First come, first serve type deal, whatever they're doing. And submit the evidence you have to the respective board that would govern your branch over this. That's the time to do it. Route it up en masse with each other. Force an investigation into your specific command for specifically 2020 to 2023. Really closer to that, 2021, 2023. But from the beginning of the pandemic to 2023, when they started to ease up and admit they were wrong. All of that. Keep all of your documents from that period. You're going to need them because the military is not going to keep them. They want this to go away. They want you to go away. They don't want you to talk about it to anyone, let alone on the internet. And they don't want you to go through the processes that are set up for you to get recourse. They don't want you to do any of that. They want you to go and focus on your day job and just fuck off. Fuck off and die. That's what they want you to do. So don't do that. Remember who you are. You're not the piece of shit that they said you are. They drug your name through the mud in front of God and everybody. Grow a backbone. Remember who you are and start doing the things you need to do to get right with yourself. Because I don't accept this anymore. This self-service that's been allowed to perpetuate. I witnessed it in Lejeune. It was a disgusting hive of self-interest and villainy, to paraphrase Obi-Wan. Nobody there on a command staff level was there for the right reasons. Very, very few and far between. You get brown nosers that can only do one thing, like run. They can't lead, a horse to water, and they get elevated to positions because they're brown nosers. Because they know how to play the game. They know how to step on the people around them and get to where they need to be. Now, okay, competition, cutthroat for business, okay, some of that. But we're supposed to be one team. You slitting my throat to advance your career is antithetical to everything that we're supposed to stand for. So I just wanted to say that that's bullshit, all of it. I don't accept it anymore, and neither should you. You should take ownership of this. This is your granddad's military, and they've hijacked it to do whatever they want. They're currently politically trying to hijack it for specific reasons. We might get into that in another episode, but it's been hijacked by mediocrity and self-service, by people who use it as a stepping stone, by people who prosecute others for disobeying unlawful orders in order to catapult themselves into a political career. I think that's wrong. I don't think people like that have any sort of place protecting us or having any sort of authority over anybody else. And I know there's a lot that agree with me. So if you do agree with me, hop on board. You don't even have to talk to me. Just do it yourself. Get with your colleagues. Make a stink about this. Don't go away. I'm not. This is the path I'm on, and I'm not ever going to stop, and neither should you. So that'll conclude it for right now. I'll have more to say about using military individuals as lab experiments to profit. We'll talk more about that. And I have individuals I want to specifically talk about that with, to include Miss Teresa if she'll talk to me. Hopefully we can get her on. But in the meantime, remember, we got interviews coming up, and the first 2 should be coming out, or they should drop next week. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I won't stutter as much as I did this one. Yeah, there's more to come, but that's the immediate future. So look out for those interviews. They'll be on everything. So minus Facebook, because Meta hates me. I will end it there, and I will see you guys in the next one.